Hey guys, Ivan here with another video for today as I promised. Now the previous video, the first video after this hiatus of 10 days was more like news in bodybuilding, stuff that gets the clicks really, but this video is something I'm personally gonna enjoy more because this video is just pure bodybuilding talk, that just it. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the New York Pro list that is already out, of course. 2 days out. It's been out for a couple of days, and it's actually gonna be a pretty freaking good lineup, man. So this right here, the highlighted guys, are most likely your top 5. Blessing Awodibu, Rafael Brandao, Tonio Burton, Krizo, and Patrick Moore. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on this one, again, of the top competitors who could win not only New York Pro, but also the Pittsburgh Pro is, for example, Rafael Brandao, who just posted this photo. Now, this one is obviously a little bit edited with AI, I'm guessing, but it's pretty much what you're gonna get from Rafa. However, there is this photo from 1 week out. Actually, it's 2 weeks out of the New York Pro, or like 10 days ago. So this is what Rafael Brandao looks like currently, and this is pretty freaking impressive. Now, the thing is with Rafa, you can't really get an idea of how big he truly is until he's on stage next to the other guys, because he has the height and also really pretty aesthetics. He has the classic look. So you might assume that he's actually smaller, that he's a classic bodybuilder, but no, he's also really big. He held his own against a very massive Samson Dauda a couple of years ago. And this year, the Arnold Classic, he did look a little bit downsized and not exactly in shape. But since then, I think he took it very seriously and made a ton of progress, guys. A ton of progress. I think he got really shredded, really lean, and also he improved a lot of his fullness, of his 3D. Everything is just looking plastic, like he's made out of plastic and everything is popping out. He looks like a freaking cartoon character, and the symmetry that he has on his body, like literal symmetry left to right. One side of his body looks like the mirror reflection of the other, so he's perfectly symmetrical with perfect shape, great proportions, great aesthetics, great conditioning, enough size in my opinion, and also great 3D, so this can definitely be a top contender to win the New York Pro. However, probably the favorite to win this show and potentially the Pittsburgh Pro too would be Tonio Burton, and most of us saw it that way come weeks prior to this show, but now it looks pretty damn clear, because look at what Tonio is looking like right here, and the caption of his post is telling us a lot. He says, "Nothing to hide." And that is usually the case with Tonio. He's never really hiding anything. He's always showing us all of his shots. Here, he's not really giving us his back shots, but we've seen them recently, and his back is probably his strongest body part. No, I take that back. It's definitely his strongest body part. But from the front in all these shots right here, he looks amazing. And from what I'm hearing, he's 12 pounds up from the last time we saw him on stage. That's a lot of size, guys. At this level of competition, on this small frame. Remember, he's a former 212 competitor. So a couple of years ago, he was 212 pounds. Recently, I don't know, maybe he was competing at like 225, something like that. So right now, he's what, close to 240? Deciding to skip the Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic boat was a really good decision, because he put on a lot of size, and probably, most likely, he's going to win 2 major shows, qualifying for the Mr. Olympia, and then going to the Mr. Olympia as potentially one of the top runners. And he's going to have more time to put on more size on this frame. This is looking insane, guys. Crazy X frame, crazy bubbly muscle. Everything is looking 3D. There's a ton of size on this frame. You know, he's a shorter guy, but not as short as Harry or as Derek. He's taller than them, and he has a little bit smaller structure, but now with all this muscle on this frame, This is definitely starting to resemble Dexter Jackson a lot, only with more of a bubbly look. You know, Dexter had great arms, great legs, but he was more kind of squarish. You know, he wasn't exactly that limb dominant. And Tonio has a crazy sweep on his legs, crazy size in his arms and shoulders, a bit smaller chest. So everything is popping out. This is looking like a phenomenal physique and is most likely going to win both of these shows. His conditioning is also crazy. He's peeled. Look at him from the back right here in this photo. This is insane. He's shredded. The glutes are dry. Everything is just shredded, peeled, dry. This is insane. So, yeah, he is most likely the winner, the favorite to win the New York Pro. But I wouldn't be too sure because I've seen some photos from Michal Krizo. Now, Michal Krizo is an absolute freak, guys. A crazy looking bodybuilder. So much size, man. He's like 6 foot and right here he's weighing about 300 pounds, which is insane, which is really freaking massive. And in some of the shots, nobody's beating this guy. I don't think anybody can beat him in the most muscular, for example. Some other shots as well. But what is the issue with Krizo? The issue is, in my opinion, the fact that he is not polished enough. He doesn't have that fine polish, and because of that, I don't think they're going to give him a major win like the New York Pro or the Pittsburgh Pro. What do I mean by that? Well, he doesn't have like all the poses nailed down. For example, he has a couple of weak poses, really weak poses. Also, his posing it's bad. You know, it improved. He improved it a little bit. He improved some of his body parts as well. He changed some of his poses. But he's never going to be a great poser. Just like Nick Walker will never have a small waist, the same way Krizo will never learn how to pose like a great poser. That's not going to happen. So without having great posing, great presentation, most of your shots looking phenomenal, you're probably not winning these major shows. However, they don't have an issue giving him a victory over somebody who is great, like Keon Pearson at a Prague Pro. Yeah, he can beat somebody who is phenomenal. But when it comes to winning these major shows, I just don't see them giving them to guys who are not prepared completely. And I don't imagine Krizo being fully ready for the posing, you know, doing all the poses properly and also nailing all the shots. But he does look huge. He's definitely shredded. And I think he's taking it very seriously for these two shows. He's usually kind of a little bit off for his warm-up shows, and then he comes in better. This time around, I think he's bringing it 100% for both of these shows. And here he did some posing with Mike Sommerfeld. He probably improved some of the shots he's doing. Hopefully he will remember that and apply it on the stage. But like I said, he has some weak shots, like the abs and thighs. You know, he has massive legs. He has a pretty decent looking abs, but like the waist is a little bit wide, and the way he's posing with his arms, the lats are not popping. There are a couple of poses like that are just not that great. So because of the fine polish overall, I don't see him winning any of these shows, but I can see him still looking phenomenal, dominating. And again, I wouldn't be too sure about what I'm saying. He could still win. But again, guys, Krizo is but a freak, man. Even next to Andrew Jack, he looks enormous. He even looks potentially bigger than Andrew. I mean, freakier. But again, when they hit the poses, you can see Krizo's flaws and gaps. Andrew doesn't have that many. That's why Andrew is a better bodybuilder. But, you know, in the gym, posing, flexing, Krizo looks like a freak because of those arms and the clean look he has. Andrew Jack is kind of known for stuffing most of his body parts with a bunch of oil, and Krizo, you can definitely see the quality in the muscle. It's all just real, pure muscle. You can see the fibers. You can see that clean look that not a lot of guys today have. Krizo does, And that's why I appreciate his physique, but that's not really that important in IFBB Pro League today, unfortunately, the way things are. It's all about being bubbly and complete and full and huge. It's not that much about the detail and conditioning and the quality of the muscle. That's classic physique. You know, in open, the other things are more important. But of course, if you have everything plus that, and the other guys have everything and they don't have that, you're going to have an advantage. But again, it's not that important. So Krizo, even though he's a phenomenal bodybuilder, I don't really see him winning the New York Pro or the Pittsburgh Pro. Now, again, a lot of guys have Tonio, Burton winning both New York and Pittsburgh. But when it comes to Pittsburgh, man, did you forget that Brandon Curry is actually doing that show? And yes, Brandon is kinda at the tail end of his career, but man, did you forget that he just pushed freaking Andrew Jacked at the Arnold UK? Andrew Jacked, who won the Arnold Ohio and who is most likely has a really good chance of winning the Mr. Olympia. And Brandon Curry just stood next to him and held his own. I mean, I want to say he actually pushed him, that there was a chance of Brandon actually beating Andrew. There wasn't. But even next to Andrew, Brandon looked damn good. And, you know, for a while now, for years and years, we all are saying this is going to be the end of Brandon. He's going to finally retire, lose it. But it's just not happening. He's even improving in some areas. You could argue that this is as good as he was back when he was winning the Mr. Olympia title. I mean, I don't see it that way. I think he was way fresher and his back was bigger and he was overall just had that cleaner look. Now he's a little bit atrophied, but still, man, he's still huge and he's bringing better conditioning. You know, Tonio is ready and he's bigger, but is he gonna be this big? Is he gonna be this thick? Is he gonna be this good? I mean, we know how good Brandon Curry is. I think he did lose to Tonio once. I'm not sure, maybe at the Mr. Olympia, but since then, Brandon improved. What we saw from Brandon this year, especially the Arnold UK and in the Arnold Classic Ohio, was great, man. So I wouldn't be so fast to say that Brandon is going to lose to Tonio. I think Brandon is probably still the favorite on paper. But when Tonio is bringing is also phenomenal. Of course, there are Rafael, Brandao, and Krizo. And yeah, sure, there is Blessing as well, but Blessing is definitely not fighting for that title. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an amazing show. Finally, man, finally. Since the Arnold UK, we haven't really had many great shows. You know, April was empty. Nothing was going on. New York Pro is going to be very exciting because, again, we have 4 guys fighting for that title and some other guys in the second call out fighting for that top 5 spot. So it's going to be an amazing show this weekend, guys. So stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel for the best coverage of the New York Pro on YouTube right here. We might do a live stream as well, hopefully. So again, guys, stay here. See you soon. All the best and bye-bye.